It was a pleasure for those of us who went to Greece this spring to spend a number of nights in the ancient city of Thessaloniki. It is, of course, today a thriving modern city, one of the largest cities in Greece. It's located right along the water, and we were fortunate to stay just a brief walk from what is a miles-long promenade all along the port and the city of Thessaloniki. And it's a city that changed hands many, many times in the last several thousand years. And it was in this place that Paul established a church, and it's to this community that he wrote what is the oldest book in what we call the New Testament. Our verse for today is the one that I'm preaching on. It's from Thessalonians chapter 1, verse 3, where Paul tells the church that he and his team are remembering before our God and Father your work of faith, your labor of love, and steadfastness of hope in our Lord Jesus Christ. Faith, hope, and love. Three words I think many of us associate with the Apostle Paul, especially because of the more familiar chapter of First Corinthians 13. But here we see in the very opening sentences of the first letter that we have from him, Paul sounding the importance of these three pillars, or foundation stones, if you will, that we build our Christian life upon: faith, hope, and love. And as I'll mention in my sermon, you notice that each of those words comes with a qualifier, and they all imply that faith, hope, and love are not easy. It is your work of faith. As Paul will tell the church in Philippi, which is not that far away from Thessaloniki, they would need to work out their salvation with fear and trembling. Developing our faith, growing our faith, strengthening our faith, holding on to our faith isn't easy. It takes work. He also refers to your labor of love. And if faith isn't easy, neither is love. As one person famously said, I love humanity, it's people I have trouble with. And throughout the New Testament, that's kind of what we see. And perhaps in your own life, you know that sometimes loving people, even people in our family and people close to us, can be challenging. It is a labor of love. And that's a phrase that we often use in our language about things that we may need to do, but not always feel like doing. And the final qualifier is your steadfastness of hope. It can be hard to hold on to hope. And in the days in which we're living and looking at the major issues we see in our nation and around the globe, boy, it can be hard being hopeful. And yet Paul calls us to a hope that is steadfast, even when circumstances don't seem to give us a lot of reason to be hopeful. How's your work of faith, your labor of love, and your steadfastness of hope going? I pray that you'll keep working at all three.